all these weird American things I wasn't used to. Eventually, I learned how to speak English by watching a lot of TV, mainly BET Rap City. Because that was my shit. I want to be cool, and nothing cooler than BET Rap City, right? Every music video was a slice of somebody's American dream. The first music video I saw was Jay-Z's Big Pimpin'. You guys remember that shit? Jay-Z's Big Pimpin' was the greatest music video of all time. It's Jay-Z and his boys on a yacht pouring champagne on this beautiful woman's face for like 4 minutes. I was like, this is America? It's amazing. That's all I wanted to do. Like before I even wanted to get into stand-up, that's all I wanted to do. I want to be a rapper. I want to be like Jay-Z and Big Pimpin'. So I started my own rap group in high school. It's a true story. It was me, my black friend Julian, and my other friend Yuji, who was half black and half Japanese. So we had perfectly 1.5 black dudes and 1.5 Asian dudes. And we called ourselves the Yellow Panthers. I know. I wish I was making this shit up, but I'm not. The Yellow Panthers was a real rap group, and we had a real rap song. It was called Underground Railroad Builder. I was confused. Eventually, I became a good Asian American, and I went to school to get an economics degree because that was the easiest degree that can still appease my Asian parents. But then after I graduated, I didn't want to do like econ or finance. So I went up to my dad. I was like, Dad, I don't want to do any of this. I want to go try and do stand-up. And he was like, what's a stand-up? You mean like a talk show? I was like, yeah, sure, talk show, whatever you want to call it, okay? But I want to go pursue my dreams. And he was like, no. Pursuing your dreams, how you become homeless. I was like, no, Dad, things are different now. We're in America, okay? In America, we're supposed to do what we love. He was like, no. Everyone does what they hate for money and use the money to do what they love. That's that old school Chinese mentality, right? See, I'm like first generation, but my parents, they're like -9 generation because they're so freaking Chinese. Like, it's really hard for me to watch TV with my dad because he's trying to make me explain everything to him. And first of all, all Asian people, they don't watch TV, they judge the TV. This is like, I'm just sitting next to my dad on the couch, and he's wearing his like old Asian man costume, which is just a wife beater and tidy whities. He's just sitting there, arms folded, judging the TV like. He just makes random noises around the house. Now whenever he sneezes, it's never just a sneeze. It's like a whole tsunami of sound waves that comes after. It's just like, oh, chill, oh, hey, shit, oh. I'm like, what the fuck, Dad, just have an orgasm? What was that? And he doesn't understand what I'm saying half the time. He's like, oh, there's an orgasm. Okay, the orgasm. And he tried to make me explain everything to him on TV. Do you understand how difficult it is to explain a rap music video to an old Chinese man? We're just sitting there, and my dad was like, oh, Jimmy, what I mean when he say Lamborghini Mercia? What's that? And I'm like, Dad, he's bragging about his car. It's a Lamborghini Murcielago, very expensive car. You know what that is, right? And he's like, oh, okay, yes. That's when you know they have no idea what the fuck you just said. It's like, okay, yes, a Lamborghini, okay. Jimmy, what does he mean when he say, your chick, she's so thirsty, or what's that? And I was like, shit. Dad, he's making fun of somebody's girlfriend, okay? Saying like she likes attention from other guys. and she likes to do sex stuff with them. You know, like blowjobs and such. And he's like, oh, okay, yes. Blowjobs, okay. Jimmy, I'm thirsty too, okay? So I was like, oh, God, no. Got lost in translation. It's disgusting. Needless to say, I grew up with low self-esteem because I was raised by Asian parents. My dad's not even the worst. My mom's much worse. Have you guys ever hung out with old Asian ladies? Old Asian ladies will tell you exactly what the fuck is wrong with your face. As if they're trying to do you a favor. I go to my mom's house, the first thing she says, she's like, Jimmy, oh yo. Oh yo. Why is your face so fat? Your clothes look homeless. And your hair, oh yo. It's a gay. No. Sometimes it's like embarrassing for me to hang out with my mom, you know, because Asian people, we just got a different custom, you know. Like my mom, when she goes shopping, she doesn't buy shit she needs. She just buys shit because it's a good deal. One time I brought a full price shirt home, $20, and she was like, "Was it full price? No, it's a bad deal." I was like, "Mom, it's only $20." It's like, "Yes, $20 if you're stupid." She goes to Ross and she freaks out because everything's a great deal. She's like, "Jimmy, you should buy this. You should buy. This is a good deal. This is a good deal." I'm like, "Mom, that's a double XL shirt, okay? And it says Obey on it. I'm not gonna fucking wear that." And she's like, "It's okay, 50% off. Someday it will fit, okay?" If you want a good deal, you follow the old Asian people, right? You go to Costco, you see a sea of old Asian people because you know everyone's getting a great deal. Nobody's getting ripped off. You go to Whole Foods, never seen one old Asian motherfucker in my life. We don't believe in that shit. Look, there's nothing wrong with Whole Foods. Matter of fact, it's too nice. And Asian people, we don't like to pay for atmosphere. Have you guys been to a Chinese grocery store? It's a fucking zoo. You walk in there, there's just a frog jumping from one aisle to the other. There's a piece of fish still flopping around the floor. Half the place is an aquarium. I don't even know why you ever pay for your kids to go to SeaWorld when you just take them to the Ranch 99 for free. That's a good deal. That's a great deal. Asian people, we don't buy organic shit. We don't believe in organic labeling. We better still see it swimming or still walking. That's organic to us. That's the only way we know. All my friends in LA, all my hipster friends, they're like, "Jimmy, you gotta eat organic, man. Those regular stuff you eat, they have growth hormones in them. It's gonna fucking kill you." I'm like, "Really? Growth hormones?" Wait a minute, you trying to tell me I've been eating growth hormones all my life and I'm still 5'5" and I shop at Gap Kids? Get the fuck out of here. I'll pay extra for growth hormones. Get me to the GMO only section, you know? All this organic stuff in America is getting out of control. It's not just organic food. You got like organic bed sheets, organic hand soap. I don't know about you guys, but growing up in my very Chinese family, hand soap wasn't even a thing. Hand soap used to be that piece of crap leftover soap that my dad's been washing his balls with for 2 months. And he just puts it on the soap counter, you walk by, you rub your 2 fingers on it for good luck. That was hand soap. Nobody got sick, it was fine. Once in a while you got a piece of pubes, so what? You deal with it. Now hand soap's so fancy, it's got its own aisle at the grocery stores. Because it's not about washing your hands anymore, it's a status symbol. We go to our friend's house and judge how well they're doing by what kind of hand soap they got. We've all done this. You go to your friend's house, he's got that green bar soap that says Zest on it. That guy's a fucking peasant. Don't associate yourself with that kind of animal. He's gonna ask you for money, you know what I mean? And then next level up, you got like the $2 bottle of soft soap with the fish or the watermelon on it, you know? I like that family. That's the backbone of America. It's the middle class Honda Civics of soaps. Hardworking American family, man. I appreciate that. And then next level up, you got a soap that's so fancy, it doesn't even dispense soap. It dispenses foam. Which is just soap filled with air for an extra $6 a fucking bottle. Because as an American society, we decided we're way too good to rub our own two hands together to create our own foam and rather outsource that foaming action to some poor Chinese kid in Guangzhou, China to pre-foam it for us. Make America foam again, people, okay? I was born in Hong Kong. Any Hong Kong people? A couple of us? Awesome, man. For you guys that haven't been following the news, Hong Kong is a part of Japan. I'm joking, obviously. But I said the same shit in Kansas City, and people were like, really? Wow, we learned something new today, Bill. I did a show in Kansas City. I don't know why either. People are very nice in Kansas City. I'm not gonna say like they're racist or anything like that, but they're just like curious. Like they're watching me like they're watching an episode of National Geographic. And a pack of giraffe just ran by. And they're like, oh, never seen one of those in real life. Looks majestic. This one kid in Kansas City came up to me after the show. Very nice kid. This is what he said. He was like, Jimmy, thought you were really funny, man. I don't mean to offend you. That's when you know you're about to get offended. It's like, I don't mean to offend you, but when I first saw your poster, I thought you were gonna play the violin. I was like, I do, motherfucker, just not right now. Shit. I keep it a secret. See, I gotta say, I got some of the nicest crowds in the business. I rarely ever get heckled. And one time I was talking about how I used to play the violin. Old Chinese lady sitting in the front just stood up and screamed out, first chair or second chair? And I was like, thanks, ma'am, fifth chair, actually, fifth chair. It wasn't very good, it wasn't good. I grew up very stereotypically in Hong Kong. Like my real name is not even Jimmy, that's my English name. My real name is Man Xing, in Cantonese Man Sing. It stands for 10,000 success. Yeah. I had very ambitious parents, and now I'm telling dick jokes and doing Tai Chi on stage, so. Jimmy was just kind of like an arbitrary English name that just sounded easy. And my dad, he named himself Richard. I was like, Dad, why'd you name yourself Richard? He was like, because I want to be rich. It makes so much sense. And then they named my older brother Roger after the James Bond actor Roger Moore. Yeah, but my brother hated that name. He was like, man, it makes me sound like an old white guy. So eventually he changed his own name to Roy. So now he sounds like an older white guy. And now his full name is Roy Roger, which is the oldest white guy to ever white. I grew up very stereotypically, man. I didn't play basketball, football. I grew up playing ping pong. Competitively. That was a serious national sport back home, man. You know, I didn't go to any like fun summer camp, space camp. My dad sent me to a ping pong training camp in Guangzhou, China. I almost died. It was 100 kids competing for one spot on the national team. It was basically Fortnite with ping pong paddles. We took that shit seriously though. My dad would take me to every practice, every tournament game, and he always tried to give me a pep talk before every game. But you know Asian parents, they're way too honest. So every pep talk just turned into an insult. Like he'll come up to me and be like, Jimmy, you're going to play well, okay? Even though you're slow, even though you're weak, and you suck. And then he would just walk away. I was very good at math. That's a big Asian stereotype. I think there's some truth to that. Not because of some weird genetic thing, just because our parents care so much more about mathematics and academics, right? You guys seen it? You guys seen those like Kumon learning centers in those strip malls, right? Right? Kumon learning centers, for you guys that don't know, are basically detention camps for young Asian children. You can tell that place is kind of fucked up by the look of its logo. Because it's supposed to be a smiley face, but it's not really smiling. It's just like, man. My parents were way too cheap to send me to Kumon. They got a different strategy. They never let me use a calculator until I turned 15, so I can work on my brain function. That's an old school Chinese strategy. You know, so when I turned 15, it was a very special occasion. It was basically my quinceañera. My dad just gave me a TI 83 plus. And he looked me in the eyes, and he was like, you're a woman now, okay? I love all Asian people, man. Yeah. All Asian people are the best. But why are all old Asian people always stretching in the park? Like, it doesn't matter which city and which park you go to. You wake up 6:30 in the morning. You see about 250 old Asian people all doing this shit at the same time. For like 3 hours. Like, what the fuck are they doing? And my dad was trying to explain to me, he's like, oh, they're warming up to do Tai Chi. I'm like, for how long? And ironically, Tai Chi is a warm-up in itself. So they're warming up to warm up for nothing. And I think to a lot of Americans, like people think that Tai Chi is some like exotic Chinese secret, some oriental art. No, Tai Chi is just exercise for people who are too old to exercise. Let's not exoticize these things, you know? It's actually super simple to do Tai Chi. I went to the park, watched those old people for like an hour, and I learned how to do Tai Chi. Very simple. All you gotta do is two things. All you gotta do to do Tai Chi is pretend you're wiping down a window and getting a blowjob at the same time. You guys seem skeptical. Allow me to demonstrate. Very simple. All you gotta do, you get in your little stance, right? Okay? And then you wipe down a window, and now you get a blowjob. And then you lift her head up because you're a gentleman, you know? That's Tai Chi. Thank you. Let's not exoticize these Asian things. They're just old people reminiscing about the days when they got sucked off. That's it. You got to take advantages of all these like Asian stereotypes. You know, if people are going to exoticize us, that's fine. Whenever somebody asks me to do something I don't want to do, I just make up a fake Chinese holiday now. It's like, hey Jimmy, can you help me move next Monday? I'm like, Monday? That's the Dragon Boat Lychee Boba Festival, dog. I can't just help you move. My grandfather died for that shit, you understand? And if people's gonna assume that I don't speak English, that's fine. That's what I do now when I get pulled over by the cops. I just pretend I don't speak English. Haven't gotten a ticket in 5 years. Last time I got pulled over, the cop was knocking on my window. He's like, sir, you do understand you can't make a right turn here. It says right there in the sign you can't make a right turn. So I just looked up at him. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, but the English is not very good, so I cannot read the sign. And he was really confused. He just looked back down at me. He was like, "Sir, the sign is not in English. It's a diagram, so I don't understand how that's a language barrier." So I just looked up at him. I was like, "Oh, I don't know. But do you know today is the Dragon Ball Lychee Ball?" Gotta use it to your advantage, people. I was still using Tinder up until like a year ago. This is a true story. But now I realize I got a whole new set of issues on Tinder. Like now when I do match with a girl, she doesn't believe that it's me. Like, ugh, that's not you. You're not that guy from this thing and that thing. I'm like, who the fuck is using me as a fake profile? You gotta dig real deep to use me, man. I feel like there's so many better choices out there. One time my agent told me that I had a good look. And I'm like, thanks, dude, I appreciate that. But then it took me years to realize that having a good look is totally different than being good looking. I still don't know what the fuck it means. And look, I'm not being self-deprecating, okay? That's Hollywood talk. I don't listen to that shit. I understand that in real life, I'm like super good looking. If you're into anime. You gotta get in where you fit in, people. One time I went over to the girl's house. She has this like Naruto anime poster in her bedroom. I knew I was fucking that night. You gotta know your demo, people. Asian people, we don't need Tinder anymore. We just go to BTS concerts. That's how we do that parking lot pimping. I've been dating a lot of tall girls lately because it makes me look successful. No. I think tall women are beautiful, but some of them like to wear heels. That's just disrespect. I'm like, you're already 5 inches taller than me. Why the fuck are you wearing heels? And she's like, it makes my ass look better. I'm like, your ass is at my eye level right now. Neither of us look good, okay? I look like a child, and you look like a child molester. Last time I took a tall girl to this concert. I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently tall people have fun at concerts. Are you guys aware of that? I'm 5'5". I just go to concerts to smell other people's armpits. Like, what the fuck's the point of this? She was having a time of her life doing whatever tall people do at concerts, you know? Jumping around, obstructing other people's views, seeing everything. I was frustrated. I had enough. So I just looked up at her. I was like, hey, pick me up. This is bullshit. I pay for these tickets, okay? I want to see Billie Eilish too. Come on. My dad still calls me like 20 times a day just to check up on me. It's annoying, but I understand that's how he shows love. I was talking to my friend here, and he was like, oh, I haven't talked to my dad in 3 weeks. I'm like, what, is he in jail? He was like, no, I live with him. I just haven't talked to him in 3 weeks. I'm like, you do understand, if I don't call my dad back in 3 hours, he's gonna call 911. 911, what's your emergency? My son is dead. It's like, sir, is everything okay? Is your son dead? He's like, no, but he's dead to me. Okay, bye. That's just how we show love. My parents, they've been married for 38 years. Yeah, 38 years. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. 38 years. One time I asked my dad, I was like, Dad, after 38 years, do you still love Mom? And he was like, love? Your mom married me to escape communist China. It's not love, it's a good deal. That's how we show love, people. I've been in this country for almost 20 years now. I think I feel every bit American. But I think other people still don't see that. As an Asian American, a lot of times people see you as Asian before they ever see you as American. Even still till today, whenever I tell people I'm from Hong Kong, this is always the first thing they say. They're like, oh yeah, you from Hong Kong? Yeah, dude, from Hong Kong, yeah. Ni hao. Like, do you think that's impressive or something? I don't understand the mindset behind that. You coming up to me to say ni hao, it's like me coming up to you guys after the show. I'm like, oh, you guys from here? Yeah, y'all from here? Hi. It's not impressive. It's annoying. It's stupid. I don't even like going to Chinese restaurants with some of my friends anymore, because this is what they do to me every time. They're like, Jimmy, you speak Chinese? You speak Chinese? Yeah. Order in Chinese, bro. They're going to hook it up. Order in Chinese? Bro, order in Chinese, bro. I'm like, bro, we're Panda Express. She's Mexican. Like, what? Her name tag says Consuela. That's not Mandarin or Cantonese. Where my Asian people at? Asian people? Hey! Came out. We're out here representing, man. I gotta say, it's been a couple of good years for us Asians. Right? Yeah. We had Crazy Rich Asians last year. That was a huge moment for us. Yeah. Jeremy Lin won a championship for doing nothing. He's the first Asian kid to receive a participation trophy. We gotta be proud of him. Finally. It's great couple of years, man. But this is recent history. I don't know if you guys remember this. Just 3 years ago, there was a movie called The Great Wall, starring Matt Damon. It was a real movie. It was Matt Damon in ancient China fighting dragons and shit, and everybody spoke English. It's like, what the fuck is this? But you gotta understand, I'm not mad at Matt Damon, okay? He's an actor. That's what he does for a living. That's how he gets a check. I get it. If somebody would have offered me a lead role in a movie called Mount Rushmore, I would play the shit out of George Washington, you know what I mean? Yeah. No shame in my game. I'll play George Washington Carver if they let me. That's a black guy, by the way, I don't know. Gotta represent, man. I see a lot of people out here in the streets, they want to come up to me, but they're not really sure. There's a lot of debate amongst their friends. They're like, hey man, are you sure that's him? If we go up there, we gotta be sure, because if we go up there and it's not him, we're gonna look super racist. Are you sure that's not Ken Jeong? I don't know, looks kind of like Ali Wong, I don't know. And they come up to me, it's always like the first thing they say, like, hey man, aren't you that dude Jing Yang from that show Silicon Valley? And I was like, thanks. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I am. And then they're like, oh shit, I didn't even know you speak English in real life. I'm like, it's called acting, motherfucker. Like, did you really think Matt Damon was Chinese? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know what the disconnect is. Like, if a white actor does a British accent, he's a thespian. He wins an Oscar. If I do a Chinese accent, I'm automatically from the old country. Representation matters, man. A lot of Asian people coming up to me, very proud, very nice. They're like, Jimmy, thank you for representing the Asians, man. I'm like, hey, you're welcome. But you do understand it's not really a choice, right? Like, when you wake up Asian, you can only represent Asians. I couldn't just wake up one day and be like, fuck it, I'm representing Nigerians today. I'm very proud to represent Asians, but at the same time, there's so much pressure. Like, nobody ever went up to Matt Damon and be like, hey, Matt, thanks for representing the whites. Sounds weird. That's like a different conversation for some reason, you know? If somebody came up to me and be like, hey, Jimmy, I'm representing for the whites, I would leave that town immediately and never come back. So much pressure to represent. I gotta be a good Asian everywhere now. I gotta tip everywhere I go. That was one of the major advantages of being Asian, is I can just pretend I don't know how to tip. Y'all know what a Chinese tip is? Chinese tip, it doesn't matter how big your bill is, you tip $2. That's a Chinese tip, man. Now I gotta tip 20% everywhere. I gotta give every Uber driver a 5-star rating just so I can be a good representative. Everywhere I go, I gotta represent. Even day-to-day shit. Even the bedroom, I gotta represent. After I hooked up with this one girl, this is what she said to me. She was like, Jimmy, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're the first Asian guy I've ever been with. I'm like, okay. What do you want, a fortune cookie? Like, what do you want? She acted like she just unlocked a new character on Street Fighter or some shit.